Hello everyone. I have a question for all of you. Does multiple sexual relationships lead to unhappy married lives? Now this subject is not limited to just India, but to the entire world, across different countries and cities and different culture. Now, new age couples or the millennial couples, as we state them, and I'm talking about married couples. One important aspect before wedding is late marriage. Now, particularly in India, marriages since past 2 decades are happening late, at a very later age, say mostly around at the onset of 30s, or somewhere even in the mid of 30s, particularly surrounding the urban India, the metropolitan and the big metro cities. This particular phenomenon is getting stronger. What is actually happening with the couples is around between 30 to 35 they get married. Now when the youth peaks up from the onset of 20s, from starting from 20s till mid 20s and the end of the 20s, are they supposed to live a life in solitude without no partners or friends? I'm talking about friends in terms of in terms of love. Now, are they supposed to live in complete solitude? The answer in all probability will be no. They cannot. It's impossible. The moment they pass out from high school, as we call it on 12th standard in India, and college starts, they set their foot into the university. Now from there on till the time they're getting married, they have a sexual life, they have a personal life, an intimate life, and in order to satisfy themselves, they enter into multiple relationships. Now these relationships are, sometimes it can be around short term and some of them can be very long term, but it is not necessary that they marry the same person whom they are in a relationship. That's not mandatory. Across the world, this particular behavior is strongly present across the Western countries, the Europe, USA, and likewise similar cultures. Now in India too, since past around 2.5, 3 decades, the youth is facing the problem. So starting from 20s till the late 20s, they enter into multiple relationships. Obviously, they are sexual in nature. Hardly, I will say around 0.1% will be asexual. Now the problem arises when they enter into a sexual relationship. They also have mental compatibility with these people. It's not just physical pleasure. They spend time with each other. They enjoy those moments, like they can go for eating outside and traveling and going for trekking and biking and blah blah things they're going to do. And obviously then even the physical part is also there. Now they do it with one, they do it with two, or it can be even more. Now marriage, as I already told you all, that's not there in their mind. But imagine at the onset of the 30s, they actually get married. Okay, now they have a new partner. They have to spend the rest of their life with that particular partner. As I can imagine, I can hope so. But what actually happens when the post honeymoon period from the marriage starts? to take off the real world, the real married life. At crucial junctions, both the couples, both the man and the woman, try to recapitulate their past memories whenever they are in point of some misery or some fight, some disagreement with their current married partner. So for example, A and B are married. Now B is having some tough issues with A, and suddenly she is remembering that, okay, I had some X in my life when I was 25 and I spent around 4 years with him. He used to care a lot. He used to hold my hand very softly, very gently. He used to open the gate of the car for me, and he was so nice and his gesture was so nice. He never raised his voice. And now B is trying to compare A with the X. This does not stop till here. When A and B are having some intimate moment on their bed, some private moment is happening, and at that point of time the B is thinking, my X used to do in this manner. Or for example, even some Y can also be brought up into here, that Y used to touch me and X used to do all these things with me. It's not just a 2 or a 5 minute act. He used to talk to me, be more interactive, be more romantic, and then do the things. That's what coming into the mind of B. She's comparing everything, the mental approach and even the physical approach, both. Now the question I'm asking to you, if this is the behavior post marriage, where B is recapitulating her past life, her sexual past lives, and similarly even A can think that I had some D and some E, and I had it was a great sexual moment which he spent with his previous ex girls, again both mentally and physically, but the marriage happened with someone else, with a B. Do you think the couple A and B ever going to be happy? Really happy from inside and from within? Because whenever they are experiencing some sort of distractions or say interruptions in their relationships, they always go back and try to recall those good memories which they had with other partners. Now imagine if those partners never existed, and if A and B got married at an early age and they had bonded between themselves in a more realistic manner. The time available to both of them was ample enough to create a very strong chemistry between both of them. They would have been great friends before becoming real mating partners. But this is not happening currently in India. In the across the big metropolitan cities, new age couples are getting confused, because at the onset of the 20s, the sexual urges are extremely high. They are uncontrollable, both for a girl and a boy, for a man and a woman. I'm not differentiating between them. And at that point of time, they are entering multiple relationships at one time. At one time, I mean, they might be dating couple of people, couple of men, couple of women, and then they select one, they enter into a relation. It spans for around for a few years. If they like or dislike, depending, they enter into another relation, and they're satisfying themselves through all, both physically and mentally, and physical is an important part of it. And then where they are making a final wedlock, and they finally enter into marriage, and that's the time the mess of the past life comes to haunt them. And it's not just between the man and the woman. the family also suffers a lot, because in India, traditions and culture is still very important. It's highly, respected. But the way, the youth is getting modernized, is getting influenced from the global culture. The ethos are changing, they're getting altered, resulting into high percentage of unhappy urban marriages, leading to very high divorce rate. Spate of suicides among men are increasing rapidly. Live-in relationship are also getting, a big boost, which was a non-existential feature in Indian culture. So, are really the couples happily married across urban cities? That's the primary question which I'm asking to all of you, both Indians and people, staying abroad, because this video is for the global audience. That's my primary question. That if marriage happens earlier in life, these problems will come down, to a very great extent. But currently in Indian, the way the economy is functioning, the cost of education, higher education is very high. Both girl and boys are giving high impetus on, quality education. They don't want to compromise on their career, irrespective their parental background or not. And while doing that, they have around a 10 to around 12 years of life which they cannot spend in solitude. They got to have more than friends, and that's the reason they have sexual friends to satisfy their needs, but not necessarily, getting converted into marriage. And once marriage is happening, it's all falling apart. I'm not telling that, all the marriages are falling apart. Absolutely not. But a substantial percentage of marriage is facing these sort of dilemma, where these comparisons from past relationship continue to haunt the current marriage, and where the focus on physical pleasures, on physical sexuality is more compared to other aspects of marriage and life, because sex is just a part of marriage. It's not just the whole subject. There are other plethora of other things which are important for a successful, happily married life. So this is what is actually happening in our Indian culture. I've shared my thoughts with you all. So kindly, reciprocate with your thoughts. What do you all think? Share your opinion in the comment section. Advise me what sort of other videos I should make on. I'll meet you in next video. Thanks.